within the Pentagon have confirmed increased movement along several major Russian nuclear silos.
The end of the world, a fairly spectacular event which can be recorded at remarkably little expense these days thanks to home video.
We've just received a telex from London. Can we confirm this? Keep quiet. We're on the air. We have a confirmed report that.
One way to create excitement and visual impact in your video is to use special effects. You don't need expensive equipment, just the knowledge of a few simple techniques which can transform any production.
It's massive.
Stop babbling and get ready. Where would you like to go?
It would be nice to go to Scotland.
Then you shall.
All these clips are from a 2-hour fantasy video. It was made by this man, 20-year-old Richard Crooks.
We are the robots. We are the robots.
Richard has spent the past year experimenting with new ideas for the video, which he not only wrote, but also recorded, directed, edited, and starred in. But what is it about special effects that really fascinates Richard?
They really create the mood and atmosphere of the film, and they can be used very spectacular scenes to make it look really impressive and exciting.
Yes, she's gone, but the outsiders picked her up on the radar as a nuclear warhead. They have just launched 1 billion megatons of total destruction.
There was a scene where there's a nuclear explosion in the film, and you see lots and lots of people charging down the streets, and just mass panic, really. We had the Suffolk police there to help organise it and make sure nothing went wrong. I like watching science fiction films and that kind of thing. I see an effect on there and I always like to know how it's done.
Today, Richard and his friend Jane are working on the Tower of Dreams sequence. The tower itself is 6 inches high and painted on a sheet of glass. Through the viewfinder, it looks like this.
Right, over more, Richard. Right, over a bit more. Stop, back a little bit. Okay, ready to shoot now? Right. All right, I'm filming now, okay?
I've used lots of filter effects in the film and to create the atmosphere and the mood of the film. What I've used in my film are these graduated filters. They can change the colour of the sky, or you can have them up the other way to change the colour of the earth.
And this is the effect of using a graduated filter. The coloured filters Richard uses are widely available, but it's also possible to make your own using sheets of coloured acetate or even sweet wrappers. But for some of the more sophisticated effects, photographic filters are necessary.
There is the centre spot that I've used in the windmill scene. That just gives this green haze around the edge of what you're doing, and then the focal point, the central point you want, is clear in the middle of it. You're going to have this hazy stuff around the outside. This is a multiple image filter. My assistant Jane, she twisted it and made that funny effect just before I went into the can of drink. This is one I made myself. It's just a piece of cardboard with a shape cut out. It was actually used for the when I looked down into the fizzy drinks can at the beginning of the film. This is the most expensive filter. It's called a mirage filter. It's just a mirror which you can put in front of the lens and which reflects the top half or the bottom half, whatever you want. Like I used it in with the windmill to create a lake in front of the windmill.
Here, in his bedroom, Richard's preparing to film his face on the wall. He fits the mirage filter onto the camera and adjusts the angle until the effect displayed on the TV screen is the one that he wants. When he's ready to record, he puts on his dark glasses and slides into position.
This is the Tell-Up generator. It costs about £300, but the Haverhill Youth Centre let me borrow it. What it does really is you superimpose titles over pre-recorded material, such as this. But what I wanted it for is to have two laser beams coming from these two robots to strike these bricks here, which there is a flash pot which caused an explosion. So what I did, I got a pencil, I just mark out where I want the laser beam to come from.
From their eyes?
From their eyes to hit the ground here. Then I just draw lines to make the laser effect. So I just join up with the left.
Down to the flash point.
Down to the flash point. And then from the right.
That's the right robot's eye.
Down to the flash point. Then I just place this back.
And the two black lines will show up, oh, just
that there.
Just like lasers. Now, you've got it all set up, but that's obviously a freeze frame. It's not actually on the tape yet. How do you do that?
Well, what I do is, when the explosion appears, I just go quickly flash it on and off like that. And then the explosion will occur, and then just the tape will just start running.
For the sake of his video, there's no limit to what Richard's prepared to do. Even when pursuing realistic effects, his dedication knows no bounds.
We actually went to a hospital in Livingston, and they took about a pint of blood from me, and I was sort of making sure all the camera work was going okay and everything, and then afterwards I just fainted after everything.
This is a home movie, a Super 8 film shot by a friend of mine, which I've just transferred onto video. Now, there are a number of ways in which you can do this. On this occasion, I used this piece of equipment, a home telecine adapter. Now, it's not too difficult to use. What you have to do is to get your video camera lens right up close against this close-up lens on the side here. And then make sure that the cine projector is facing this screen and close enough to it so that any pictures will completely fill the screen. So all you've got to do is to focus and set the white balance, and you're all ready to record. Now, although video cameras run at 25 frames a second, this adapter is designed to work best with film projected at 20 frames a second. So if your projector only runs at 18 or 24 frames a second like mine, then you're probably going to get some flicker on your video copy. And the only way to get rid of it is if your projector has a variable speed control. These machines aren't cheap, so if I were you, I'd take your own projector to the shop to try it out before you even think of buying one. But there is another way of transferring film and slides onto video, and that's using one of these glass screens. It's just made up of 2 sheets of glass set slightly apart with a special fluid in the middle. If you want to record film, you project it onto this mirror here, which then reflects the image onto the screen, where it's recorded by the video camera, which is placed around the other side. But there are 2 other problems with transferring film to video. One is in getting the correct colour balance, and there's very little you can do about this except experimenting with the colour balance control on your camera. The other problem only arises when you're also transferring sound, because obviously if you're altering the speed of the film, then any soundtrack will automatically be distorted. But sound isn't a problem when you're transferring slides to video, because you can add your commentary and music later on. Using this glass screen, what we do is we abandon the mirror and replace it with a slide projector, and simply project the slide straight onto the back of the screen. Little adjustment for focusing and you're away, all set to turn your holiday slides into your holiday video. For many years, Miles Pollock has nurtured a secret ambition to record onto video one very special occasion.
I want to make a video of my wedding, which was 17 years ago. So I have got a colour film which my father-in-law took. I have got black and white stills which my friends took. I have got colour transparencies which my friends took, and of course I have the souvenir wedding album, black and white. I also taped on audio tape the wedding service, and I want to bring all those together to make one video so that I can sit and watch my wedding from 17 years ago.
To transfer his film, Miles uses a white laminate shelf to act as a screen. He props it about 2 feet in front of his projector to enable him to get a small picture with a sharp, well-defined focus. The video camera is positioned very close to the cine projector to reduce the angle of recording and keep any distortion to a minimum. The film is set to run, and the speed is varied on the projector to compensate for any flicker he may get on his recorded image. Once Miles is satisfied with the results on his video camera, he's all ready to record. Miles, you've also got lots of slides which you want to put on your tape. How are you going to deal with that?
What I use is a music stand, because we are a very musical family, and I bring it very close to the camera, because I'm going to use the macro lens on the camera, which enables me to film very, 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 very close to the slide. I can now put this on the stand, and you can see the picture on the television screen.
Mm-hmm.
Now
it's very dark.
Well, I must focus it first. So now I bring it into focus, And the picture is not much to write home about.
No, it isn't really, is it?
In fact, what we need is a bit of light behind. So, from my bedroom, I brought down my reading lamp, which is a standard 60-watt bulb, so fairly low power, and I can shine it behind the transparency, and now suddenly it's full of colour and light.
Yes, it's a lot brighter, but you can actually see the rim of the bedside lamp, which isn't too good. And I suppose also you must be very careful that you don't shine the light directly down the camera, because it could burn out the tube, and then you get that horrible spotting, which wouldn't,
Quite right,
wouldn't
quite
do
right.
at all.
You should always have something between the light and the camera. Now, I use an ice cream lid. So I remove the transparency and put the ice cream lid there, and put the transparency between the ice cream lid and the camera. It acts as a diffuser. It diffuses the light all over the transparency. Now if I switch my bedside light on, suddenly we get a brilliant picture. And I have the ability, of course, of moving the light and making that picture how I want it to appear on the video. I can have highlights, lowlights, do away with the contrast, have it very, very bright, or, as I think for this particular slide, somewhat romantic.
So is it really worth the effort making a video?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. If you watch the film, you don't have the sound. If you have the sound, which I listened to on my anniversary, you don't have the film. I don't even have a slide projector, but I've got a video recorder, I've got a television, I can watch it whenever I like.
Those whom God has joined together, let no man put asunder. I pronounce that they be man and wife together, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.
A different special effects technique is used in this video by Chris Stiles and David Munoz. From the television screen emerges the hand of a monster, with elongated latex fingers and smothered in treacle. The secret of this effect is that this TV set has had its insides removed and the screen replaced with a piece of white paper. Then the TV image is projected onto this from a cine projector, which is hidden to the right of this shot. Animation was the method chosen by Julian Kirk for his first video, Motor Race, made while still a student at Canterbury College of Art.
Well, it's about this fellow Vernon, this old man who's in a garage. And he has an old car in his garage, and he loves it. And whenever he looks at it, he tends to think about what it used to be a young man and be a racing driver.
To distinguish his central character from the others in the video, Julian used plasticine models rather than paper cutouts. He made 2 bodies for the young Vernon and gave him 4 interchangeable heads with different expressions. The car was built in 2 sizes to allow a greater selection of shots.
To make the models move, it was a question of, instead of moving them a bit and then taking a separate frame and then stopping and moving again and that sort of way, it's very laborious. We just trained the camera onto his top half and I held the bottom half and moved him like that, sort of to look as if he was walking. And it was, I suppose it was quite time-saving, really, because it would have taken ages otherwise if you'd done it. Okay.
Recording the race was fairly straightforward, but very time-consuming and needed the help of colleagues. Paper cut-out cars were stuck onto a sheet of glass and a piece of clear acetate supporting Vernon's car was placed on top of them.
It's just in the shot.
It's going to run over his wheel.
I'll put it in.
The road was a roll of painted wallpaper that was pulled underneath the glass.
Yes, right.
Just hang on, let me just check the focus.
The camera was positioned directly above the workbench to get a bird's eye view of the race.
Okay.
Well, let's get the race. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
When they were ready to record, Julian pulled the road underneath the glass while one of his friends pulled the acetate with the car in the opposite direction.
We're running out of road. Great.
To create the idea of speed and tension, Julian needed a huge variety of shots, and so the race had to be filmed many times with the camera in different positions.
It must have been about an hour that was edited down. Obviously most of it was rejected, either because pulling the road through, it had fallen off the rostrum, or his head had fallen off, or the model had fallen over, the background had collapsed, or someone had laughed, or got in front of the camera. And at the end, he's the old man again. Rather sad.
Hey? What? What, now? Oh, for heaven's sake.
What do you think you've learnt from it, Julian?
Oh. Well, when I started it, I knew nothing, and now I know very little. But it's a start, you know.